Hello Railways Africa viewers, and welcome to the Dube TradePort here in KwaZulu-Natal. I'm actually in the Amsted Reelin facility, and as you would know, I'm quite invested in showcasing the capabilities and capacity of manufacturers that feed into the rail sector for South Africa and Africa, specifically in the railway sector. If you're an avid reader of Railways Africa magazine, you will know that we've covered Amsted Reelin quite frequently. Typical products being their Motion Control Bogie, the draw gear, and the slack adjusters. But today at this facility, we're going to be covering two particular aspects, and that is new bearings for railway rolling stock, as well as OEM-agnostic remanufacturing of bearings here at their facility in KwaZulu-Natal. And to show me around the Amsted Reelin facility, I have Sihle, the production manager. Hello Sihle, how are you doing?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm looking forward to my tour here. And tell me a bit about your journey.
Unemployed when I first started here, and then I became an operator like any other operators. And then after that, I started seeing myself up as a production inspector, bearing inspector in fact, and then I grew to a production supervisor, and now here I am, I'm a production manager. The company did very well in making me grow, because I had to go to DUT as well through the company, and I obtained my operations management BTech.
So I'm really excited. You're going to be taking me around.
Yeah.
So after you.
So we receive dirty bearings from our client. This is our separation area. So basically we remove the top, which is called the end cap, and as well the seal wearing. The seal wearing sits on top here. So we separate them. These are the seal wearings, and those ones are the end caps on the other side. The bearing is already stripped into components, and then we move it down the line where it is a breakdown area where our bearing is broken down into pieces. This is the broken bearings, which consists of a cap, two cones, and a spacer, which is then pushed down the line. All components that we throw away are counted for. This is our cleaning area where the bearing is degreased, washed properly, and made it clean for the next process, which is the inspection area. Welcome to the inspection department, where we start with the polishing. The bearing is polished on the outside to make sure that it is clean, and then we're able to see the brand of the bearing. A bearing is properly inspected for cone bore, we have cap counter bore, and then if the bearing is good, it will be placed in a rightful area. If the bearing is scrapped, it will then be scrapped. In the inspection department, that's where we do the thorough inspection of each and every component that is on the bearing. This is our assembly line. This is where we put bearings together, where we assemble new bearing and refurbished bearings. Once the bearing meets all the specifications from inspection to the assembly line after greasing, it is now in a palletizing stage. This is our wrapping stage, where a pallet is wrapped and then it is ready to be sent to our clients.
So talk to me about two things. One, the scrap that we can see here, and two, the data interface with the client, because I think that data is quite important as well.
Basically, the bearings come in batches. We collect the data. So each and every bearing that we run through the line, we collect information on it, including the defects on the bearing. If it's defective, we've got all kinds of defects that we've collected for the client, and that information is issued to the client. And these bearings as well, which is a scrap, goes back to our clients.
So Mervyn, why is the data so important?
At every step of the process in this facility, information from those bearings get uploaded onto our system. We in turn send that to our clients. They make changes according to the defects of failed bearings. So what we've done is, in the past, some of our clients started out with 30% yields, meaning only 30% of their bearings were good. After we've given them data and they've changed some of their processes on site, We've brought that up to now almost 70%. And there were so minuscule changes like keeping old bearings under a shelter or covering them up from the elements. Simple things like that brought their yields up to almost 70%.
It's quite important to understand the role of a bearing.
Bearing's very critical because if you have a failure on one bearing on a 50 wagon train, that entire wagon can be derailed. So it's a critical component, because if you have a failure to this component, your entire train can derail. That's the reason why safety is so important. And our facility, when we inspect, we cannot give you something that's going to fail and cause a derailment. So we have to make sure that our processes are in place.
And that kind of brings in line, like, you know, the ISO, the quality of this facility, the certification of this facility that you give to your customers.
That's correct. So what happens is we also have processes in place for us to check ourselves. So we've got systems to make sure that when something is corrected or inspected, it cannot be approved or moved to the next station until it meets certain parameters.
A bearing can be remanufactured more than once.
Correct. A bearing can be reconditioned up to 4 times.
Quite a good lifespan. Average lifespan, if you look after it?
Well, you can get between 5 and 7 years. When it comes out of our facility, if it's a new bearing or a reconditioned bearing, the lifespan is as if it's a new bearing. So when we give you a recondition, even if it's reconditioned for the 3rd time, when you put that bearing on, it's considered a brand new bearing. That's the lifespan of the reconditioned bearing. There's a 0 defect on that bearing that's been issued. If it's got a defect, it's scrapped. So that's why with the data we were talking about, we had to reduce those defects from our clients. So if these bearings are kept outside in the water, you're going to get water etching, you're going to get rust buildup, it's going to be defective, you cannot reuse those bearings.
All right, so we all know that quality is extremely important when it comes to component manufacturing, especially for the rail industry. And Yo-Yo is in charge of quality, and she's going to tell me more. But before we get there, you've had a wonderful journey with Amsted Reelin. You came in as an intern.
So out of varsity, I came and I did my internship for a year, and then once after a year, I got permanent, and then I was a production and quality controller. Production and quality assistant, pardon. And then from then on, I stayed with the company, and now currently I am the quality controller and also as well as heading quality in Amsted Reelin. So at Amsted Reelin, we have a quality policy that we live by, which is Amsted Reelin will deliver quality railway products to our customers according to their customer requirements and needs, along with improving our processes as well as productivity. And we do that through our processes, our policies and procedures, which I manage, our process improvements, process management, as well as continuous improvements. So we ensure that we are driving continuous improvements is part of quality as well. We have core values as well that we ensure that we live by, which is safety, we have communication, dedication, accountability, including quality, which also brings part with making sure that we put emphasis and that quality is important in our company.
When you get an Amsted Reelin product or component, you are assured of the quality. So Mervyn, the last time we were next to an item such as this, it was a lot smaller, and we were in an exhibition stand. So it's fabulous to see the actual Bogie here in Durban. But I think for the audience, maybe just explain, you know, what Bogies Amsted Reelin actually does produce.
Amsted does standard gauge. This is a standard gauge bogie. So from your meter gauge, Cape gauge and standard gauge, we can supply you whichever you want. This bogie is currently being assembled to go to West Africa, designed and manufactured by Amsted, and that's what we have currently for our region, which is a motion control bogie. The motion control is one of the bogies that, besides your normal standard bogies that's currently being used by Transnet, we have an approval, an unconditional approval for this motion control. It's AAR and Transnet approved. So the current motion control bogie that we have, which is the Amsted motion control, is the only one that can be used on Transnet lines immediately. We are approved by Transnet to be used. So if you're in the region and you want your rolling stock to come into South Africa, with no objection, Transnet will allow it on their lines because it's been approved by them.
There's quite a few new builds coming through from our neighboring countries for new wagons. This would be suitable for those?
100%. Our motion control, it's a plug and play with the current bogies that are on the market in Southern Africa, where most of them have been around for 30, 40 years. So the bogie that we have now, its center heights, the bowl liners are all exactly like the previous generation. So if you want to mix and match your current fleet with the new bogies, that's possible.
And then obviously you guys do the maintenance, which I believe is a bit better or simpler on these.
Well, that's something that we've been pushing a lot. The maintenance is a huge thing where it's 1.5 million kilometers before heavy maintenance is done. That's huge cost saving because you don't need to lift the bogie before 1.5 million kilometers. All you need to do is, as per this bogie, it has gauges that you need to just check the slots, which is minor maintenance every 200,000 to 300,000 kilometers, and only after 1.5 million Ks, then you would do a major lift. So on maintenance, it will save you a huge cost. 30% less components than your current bogies that are being used. So because of the less components, less maintenance. And that's why we say you'll reduce cost on maintenance.
So I mean, it's got an extensive track record all on its own. So what else are you going to show me? Because we spoke earlier about slack adjusters and draft gears.
What we have here is a Peacock Slack Adjuster. We're looking at localizing it in the country. Currently, we do supply it to all our local customers. When you speak about a slack adjuster, everybody wants a Peacock Slack Adjuster because of the mechanism and because of its durability and its long lasting. We currently supply the region and the reason for that is it's easy to install, the maintenance around it and the long lasting capability of it. Very durable, and it's got some components that allows it to keep dust away, and it's one of the best in the market currently. So this is your Amsted Peacock Slack Adjuster.
What is the purpose of a slack adjuster?
It's used in your braking system, in your wagons. When you have multiple wagons together in a train consist, you're going to have the brakes from one end to the other end that needs them to be tensioned, and this keeps it taut.
So how often would you replace a slack adjuster?
They have a number of years life, but it depends on what brand you use, gives you the most amount of life. So we supply the actual unit, or if you require maintenance kits, we can give you a kit just to maintain your current fleet. So you don't have to purchase the entire slack adjuster. We can give you components to keep yours going for another few years.
So just to give you a little bit of a history, our Amsted Reelin facility and joint venture started back in 2006, formulated in 2007, so that'll give us a good 18 years into history. And the reason why we did this was, at that point in time, main customer Transnet indicated that they've got to have a project called Woolenslela project, and we're proud to say that we formulated a win-win with our partners Amsted Rail combined with Reelin. The combination of these two companies gives us 158 years of experience, combined experience. We are looking to expand into the rest of Africa. We are very successful in a lot of railways in Africa at the moment, and we want to expand that because we believe we have the right ingredients for success. We do the bearings, we do the bogies, we do the slack adjusters, the draft gears, the whole braking system. We do everything that's conducive to the undercarriage of wagons. Reelin Bearings was founded on the 1st of June 1986, and the 1st of June this year we celebrate our 39th anniversary. I feel very proud. Amsted Rail, the combination, they started back in the 1800s, and they are 117 years old. So that both together, we've got 158 years of, as I said earlier, combined experiences. And I think that recipe has given us the way forward with success factors that we find today. Our business is done in a very integral form. We're a very transparent company. We are very proud to say that dealing with Transnet for the last 18 years. We're very proud to say that none of our products were involved in derailment, which is a very proud factor for us. Zero derailment, we don't have NCRs. Minor NCRs come as packaging or whatever. Our turnaround time to resolve is 2 hours. So we are very proud of our system. Together everyone achieves more, and everybody, from our floor staff, our management staff, there is only one mode saying we are a teamwork together.
Well, I'm floored. It's been a wonderful experience having come through your facility and meeting with your team. So thank you.
So our message is very clear. We at Amsted Reelin are ready for business throughout Africa.